What's going on, guys? Antonio here. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up for me, and let's get into it. All right, so we're on awful announcing, and they've got this article up, and I've seen several of the sports blogs that I follow. They're all talking about how bad the ratings for Undisputed has been, not just over the last few weeks, but over the last few months. It has steadily been declining. I know when they unveiled the new Undisputed, what was that, right at the end of August, they managed to do, what was about 170,000. But that was when they had, Michael Irvin and Keyshawn Johnson, they brought Lil Wayne in, the whole deal. That weared off, Richard Sherman, which I noticed Richard Sherman hasn't been on in the last few weeks because he got into some legal drama. He had a DUI, and I noticed after the DUI happened, because he had a domestic situation with his wife or his ex-wife, girlfriend, whoever. Because they had video footage of that. He showed up at the house and they had the cam, and she's telling him to leave and the blah blah blah. All that happened, and then I think they worked it out and got back to you have a fight with your significant other, and then they get mad at you, and then you're the worst person in the world again and whatnot. So, but then he's had a couple of DUIs, but I noticed after the last DUI, that's why you haven't seen Richard Sherman back. I don't know if they're going to bring Richard Sherman back, because I've seen some articles suggesting that Undisputed most likely by the summer will just not come back. Like, they're going to get through the NBA finals, and then it will just quietly ride off into the sunset. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Skip is still under contract until like next year. I think, because he had signed a new contract extension before Shannon got fired. And that was the thing, because Shannon Sharpe had signed a new contract. It was a 3-year contract. He was making $3 million a year to be on Undisputed. He had signed a new contract before he got fired last year. Now, when it initially came out there that Shannon was leaving the show, some people was like, oh, Shannon got big and he wants to leave. And now, and then Stephen A., I can't remember, he was on somebody else's podcast, and he admitted that Shannon Sharpe had gotten fired from Undisputed. Now, this was before Shannon acknowledged. Now, over the last few weeks, Shannon has talked about it multiple times that yes, he did get fired. He had some situations. He got into it with Ja Morant's dad at the Lakers game, and then there was the incident with Skip, the put your glasses back on situation. If you saw that clip, you know what I'm talking about, where because there had been some tension between him and Skip, but they did that show for 7 years, and it was consistent. They were consistently doing at least 200 some odd thousand views on television. And there were times that their YouTube clips were beating the First Take clips on YouTube. So like the ESPN has almost 12 million YouTube subscribers, and the Undisputed channel has about a little over 2.5 million YouTube subscribers. But the clips of Skip and Shannon were beating the First Take clips with Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. That's a fact. You can look at the data. And a lot of the sports blogs that I follow, they stopped posting the First Take clips, and they were posting the Skip and Shannon clips. So that was one. It kind of let you know that they weren't doing the numbers on television with Skip and Shannon, but on YouTube, on social media, they were doing numbers. They were outpacing because television is out there. A lot of times I'll tape a show and I'll watch it on streaming. Like I watch First Take. I watch it on Hulu. I don't watch it when it's airing live. I tape it on my Hulu and I stream it later. Television has changed so much, but that's why a lot of people was like, well, the show was only doing like 180, 200,000 a day, even when Shannon was there, right? But now it's only doing like 47,000. That's the latest numbers. They were only getting 47,000 people to watching. First Take on a bad day is doing 400, 500,000. They did a few days ago they posted a number. It was over 700 thousand people watched. So they doing over 700,000. I think it was it after the Super Bowl? Because it was like, yeah, they did over 700,000 a few weeks ago. And I think, like I said, I think it was right after the Super Bowl. But even then, the Undisputed numbers without Shannon Sharpe, and obviously he's doing, his Club Shay Shay podcast is like top podcast on Apple, although Joe Rogan's back on there now, so I'm sure that is over, but he'll still have a top 5 podcast at least. But yeah, now that Joe Rogan's back on Apple, Joe Rogan is the man in podcasts. That's just what it is. I watch Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, it was easy for Shannon Shannon had some stiff competition when Joe Rogan wasn't on Apple, but now that Joe Rogan's back, he's not going to be number one. I haven't looked at the podcast charts in a couple weeks, but I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan's been back on Apple for about 2 weeks now, almost 3 weeks. I'm sure he's doing numbers again. But like I said, Undisputed, I've tried to watch it. Like they just brought Paul Pierce to take Richard Sherman's spot at the moment on Undisputed. I don't think this is the Titanic. It is sinking. I don't think you can save it. But like I said, I've loved Skip Bayless and I've loved to hate Skip Bayless. I watched him on First Take, and then when he went to FS1 and Undisputed and they announced Shannon Sharpe, I watched Shannon Sharpe and Skip. They took my First Take slot because I used to watch First Take every morning, and once I saw Shannon Sharpe and Skip I left because Stephen A and Max, I thought they was all right, but they never really. I like Stephen A and Skip together. I love Stephen A and Skip together. But Stephen A and Max did not work the same for me. Just like I was talking about them sharing a lot of the blogs that I follow, the sports blogs, they stopped posting the clips from First Take, and they were posting Skip and Shannon. The only time that changed was when First Take had T.O. on, and T.O. told Stephen A. Smith that Max Kellerman was blacker than him. That obviously irritated Stephen A. Smith, but that clip went viral. That's the only time I saw it shift back and they were posting the First Take clips again, because everybody was like, well, Max is blacker than Stephen A. That kind of thing. But now that Shannon is on with Stephen A., they're getting those moments, like the weird makeup moment with Shannon Sharpe. Remember, what was that a couple months ago? They put that weird makeup on him and that went viral. They're having the moments there. But anyway, much respect to Skip Bayless. But yeah, I think you're 72, about to be 73. I think it's over. But, like I said, I'm not making $8 million a year. But get in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Give me a follow. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on X. I'm on Threads, all at Ikari Press. Now, if you type in IkariPress.com, it will take you to my comic book brand, Way of the Gun. You can also check the description because I've got the link to my Gumroad in there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out.